What's going on, everyone? Today is March 13th. It is Wednesday. It is your midweek review. Today we had 30-year bond auctions in the indices today. It was released at 1 p.m. Hopefully you guys noted that, saw what the charts did. Pretty much of a consolidative day. We've had kind of a little bit of a consolidative week in indices. Not much going on dollar either. With regards to news that's playing out for the rest of the week, tomorrow at 8:30 on Thursday, we have core PPI month on month, core retail sales month on month, regular PPI month on month, and regular retail sales month on month, as well as unemployment claims, all being released at 8:30. So a lot of pre-equities opening news events going on there. And then on Friday, you also have at 8:30 an Empire State Manufacturing Index, and at 9:15 you have an industrial production month on month, and then at 10 a.m. closing off the week, we have consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So still got a lot of jam-packed news going into the two last days of the week. Excited to see what we might do as we've been consolidating for the most part on a daily time frame on indices, and with consolidation turns to expansion. So from that going forward, hoping to see what the end of the week has in store for us. With regards to dollar, I will pull my screen up. Henry, tell me when you're on.
You are all good.
Okay, so with regards to dollar, you can see that we've started to create this weekly CIVI in here. You can see that we've pulled up into about the 50% of last week's range, and now we're pulling off of it. So a couple things to note on the weekly. If we do close without trading all the way up to this week's low, we will have a CIVI in there. So we'll finally have displacement on the weekly, and we are aiming for the draw, which would be down here into this weekly buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Now, when you go into a daily, really not much has happened today. The only thing that I will note is, yes, we do have two CIVIs, one lining up with the previous week's low. There's also a volume imbalance between the two, but note the candle body closure so far on the daily on dollar. We are expecting lower prices, and you can see so far that is the narrative, because the closure of these candles have remained not only below the CIBI consequent encroachment, but also really towards the low end of that CIBI. Today we also had down closure as well off of that. So although it is permissible that price wants to move up to this CIBI in here, that is totally okay and can still allow for downward momentum for the dollar. But I still would like to see price actually stay, with regards to closure, if we're going to remain closed below the consequent encroachment of this, I would like price to actually continue going lower, aiming for sell side in and around 102.350, and then obviously going for these lows in here and filling this weekly BISI as well. And if we want to get even more extended, we can fill the lower portion of this daily BISI as well. So everything's still on track for dollar. Relatively small range day so far, so there's not a whole lot to talk about here. Still expecting lower prices. Would prefer, if we're going to continue going lower, we stay heavy-handed and don't necessarily go and visit this one, but that is still totally permissible for downward price action. Keep that in the back of your mind. Keep watching this daily closure. Note that we closed right at the equilibrium of this range from this low to this high. So we've just been kind of flirting in and around this equilibrium of this range. Still expecting downward price. Other than that, that's it for me.
All right. Get up indices here. There we go. Okay, so jumping over to the indices, we'll start here on ES. You can see that from a monthly perspective, we've had nothing but bullish order flow. Oops. Continuing to work higher, creating BISIs on the way up, and establishing new inefficiency below as we continue trading into prior month's highs. Right. So from the monthly perspective, we are still operating under a bullish bias. From the weekly perspective, you can see we're continuing to respect discount arrays as well. Right here, the past couple of weeks, we traded nicely off the down close candle, the bullish order block right here, tapping into it there, and once again right here. And now we've begun trading back up toward the prior week's high. So as we head into the remainder of the week on ES, still expecting prior week's high to serve as the draw on liquidity up here. Dropping into the daily chart, you can see we've really nicely respected this BISI here after trading back above it. We dropped down back into it here and wicked through, but you know how the candle bodies are closing in and above the consequent encroachment, the midpoint of this inefficiency here. All right, we've begun trading higher off of that, created a new BIST here, which shows that we're continuing to expand and show bullish order flow, and we can now reach up into the buy side above the prior week's high up here. All right, move over to NASDAQ now. From a monthly perspective, still looking at things from a bullish sense, not quite the same level of bullishness that we're seeing on ES, but we still have shown nothing really but bullish order flow on a monthly perspective. Just want to note the area of inefficiency that we do have existing right here below March's low. On the weekly perspective, we've been trading nicely in and around discount range as well. Again, not quite as bullish as ES, but we have been respecting the mean threshold here of this bullish order block. And as long as we continue to respect that on a closing basis, meaning weekly candles are closing at or above that mean threshold, my expectation is that we will continue to trade higher on NASDAQ as well. As we drop into a daily chart, you can see that we are still below or inside of the daily BIST here that I referenced on ES, which we're trading nicely above on ES. On NASDAQ, we did close inside it today after doing an immediate rebalance here, trading into Monday's high. But you can see we closed all the way at the low end of it there. And so going into tomorrow and the remainder of the week, I'd like to watch on NASDAQ how we respond at the consequent encroachment, the midpoint of this inefficiency. If you see price trade up into it and then see new displacement lower on your 4-hour, 1-hour charts, then we can start gravitating into prior day's lows and down toward these equal lows here. If you do displace back above it on your 4-hour and 1-hour charts and find closure above that consequent encroachment, then we can just continue with the higher time frame bullish order flow, work toward the prior day's highs, and continue up toward the buy side above here. Okay, still operating with a higher time frame bullish perspective given the monthly and weekly charts, but we're not seeing quite the same bullishness as we are on ES, so we just want to be aware still of the premium arrays that exist above and watch for that displacement occurring on your 4-hour and 1-hour charts to get an idea of where we can move toward next. Carson, any last thoughts here?
Nope, I'm all good. Just like I said, I mean, if you're looking here, you can see that we've been consolidating. So for the most part, consolidation leads to expansion. So just hang tight. We'll get that expansion. I would, like Henry said, watch that daily consequent encroachment, and from there, note how price behaves following it. Other than that, be safe trading. And outside of trading, we've got a pretty good day of news tomorrow. So hopefully, looking to see maybe we get the tip of the hand tomorrow. If not Friday, and if not, maybe it just stays in the range for the rest of the week, and then we get something next week. You never know. Other than that, I'm all good.
All right, sounds good. Well, be safe, be responsible, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Peace.